have a heart on their tummies. Hello, everybody. Hello. Sorry I couldn't be here the other day, but we couldn't land the plane, so at least we got here. So it's nice to be here. It's a beautiful place. It's beautiful.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Thank you, Pamela, for coming. As you may know, well, this is the GrindStop 2014 campaign of Sea Shepherd, and we are pleased to have Pamela here to help us bring a spotlight on what is happening here, but also meet the people and explain a bit better our intentions and our motivations. Sea Shepherd has been involved in the green issue since 1984 in very different manners. Recently, we changed a bit because we started having people here on land, meeting with the locals, exchanging with people, which I think is a much better approach and has been very instructive. For us, this campaign is quite unique. Unlike other Sea Shepherds campaign, as you may know, Sea Shepherd is mainly an anti-poaching organization that is more known for its fight against illegal whaling in Antarctica, where we are fighting an illegal industry, whaling industry. We also fight the slaughter of dolphins in Taiji that is being led by a small group of fishermen. We've been fighting the seal hunt in Canada, the poaching of bluefin tuna in the Mediterranean Sea. Here, we know that the greens is considered legal in the Faroe Islands, although it is illegal in the rest of Europe. This is not an industry that we are opposing. This is not a group of poachers. This is not a small group of fishermen. This is basically a whole nation that is fit to their traditions, which is something that we can understand. We know that people can be very stick to their traditions. But we're trying to not lecture the Faroese people about this, but try to make them also understand how we see it, how we see the pilot whales, why we think that this tradition belongs to the past. I've met many Faroese people, and I know that more and more of them are starting to question it themselves. I think the solution will come from here, probably from outside pressure as well, but the change will come from the Faroese people themselves. So that's why I think it's very important that we are here meeting with the people, that Pamela is here, and I know that she intends to meet as many of Faroese people as she can. We're not here to fight the Faroese people, and we're not here by hate. We're here because we care of the pilot whales. So I'm the team leader for the offshore section of this campaign. So we now have 5 ships on site that are patrolling, 20 people on the offshore crew. And here is Rosie, so I'll let her introduce herself.
Yes, my name is Rosemary Kaneka. I'm from South Africa. Like Lamia said, that I am the team leader of the onshore part of the Operation GrindStop. We have around 50 volunteers from 22 countries in the Faroes at the moment. And yes, like Lamia is saying, is that our fight here is not against the Faroese people. We've really met a lot of lovely Faroese people that indicated that they themselves would not like to see this continue. And yes, like Lamia also said, we have various campaigns in many different countries. But this is the biggest Sea Shepherd campaign up to date in the Faroes. And we are really happy that Pamela is here. Thank you for joining us, Pamela. So I'm going to hand over to Pamela now. I know all of you are here to see and chat with her. So over to Pamela.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here finally. This has been a long time coming. I've been aware of this obviously for a long time and wanted to come here and try and to have conversation to maybe make a difference or maybe put in the hearts and minds of people our beliefs. I think I represent a lot of compassionate people all over the world, animal lovers, and so I'm just here to start conversation if anyone has any questions. I know we had a little bit of a discussion the other day. Maybe some of you were here, but I'm happy to answer any questions and see where we can go from there. Yes, hello.
What are you trying to achieve with the conservation?
Well, I obviously oppose the Grind. I support Sea Shepherd. I I think we need to draw a lot of attention to this and internationally, and I think now with the internet, I think people can see everything and make their own educated choices about what they believe in. And there's so few brutal things like this happening in the world that I think that this is just has to be put into the past. And so I'm here to draw attention to it and support Sea Shepherd. Yes.
What do you know about the killing of whales in the Faroe Islands in general?
Well, I know it's been going on for a long time. That it was, it's been going on. It was a sustainable hunt at one time, and
It still is.
some people agree with that, but I don't think it's for consumption anymore because the whale meat is toxic and not they recommend not for pregnant women not to eat it and for children not to eat it, and so I think it's more of it's a tradition, and I think it's more for entertainment. I think it's and it just seems that because things have been going on for hundreds of years doesn't make it right. I think that it's horrific what they do to the whales. I know exactly what happens when they kill the whales, and these whales are so intelligent, and they have their families, and they take out entire pods of whales when they go through. It doesn't seem like it's not a commercial hunt. I just don't understand what the purpose is of it.
How long has it been going on?
Hundreds of years, as far as I know.
How many whale killings have there been this year?
13, as far as I know, this year. 13 whale killings this year. How many? One.
Oh, is that true, Jens? Only one whale was killed this year?
No, only one whale killing.
But Pamela said
Oh, 13 whales were killed in the one Grind. Right. Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
I understand that you arrived this morning.
Yes.
What's your first impression of the Faroe Islands?
It's unbelievably beautiful. I felt like I couldn't believe where I was landing. I'd never seen anything like it. It's just gorgeous. I can imagine, and this is another thing I think would be wonderful. We could just see, people need to see the islands, and I think actually Whale Wars really helped show people this place. But to see it firsthand, it's like I feel like you're landing in this magical place with these beautiful villages, and I was really impressed, and I really love it. And I think it's beautiful, and that's why I think this could be a place where so many people would want to come and visit. Tourism, films, the entertainment industry, anything like that. But I think this is a stain on this place, is this brutal Grind, and I know people have it's kind of what we know about here. All I knew about here before is this is where they slaughter whales, and the sea is red, and there's children riding in whales with blood in their boots, and it's this horrific scene. But to fly in here was just so magical and peaceful, and I loved it. It was gorgeous.
Can you maybe try to describe the beauty of the country that you see in your own words?
Well, I've never seen anything like it. I grew up on an island. I grew up on Vancouver Island. And so I love, the ocean. I love the ocean life, the sea, the villages and everything. And this was just, I'd never seen anything like it. Without trees, it's like you're landing kind of on the moon, and there's this beautiful ocean, and the villages were so beautiful, and it's gorgeous, gorgeous.
What difference do you think it's going to make if you are coming to the Faroe Islands and taking your own
Well, I've been an animal activist for 25 years, since I started in the industry trying to bring attention to animal issues, and I've seen the difference that I've been able to make with PETA, the animal welfare laws we've been able to change and actually create all over the world. And I know it takes speaking up and being just going right to the place and talking about it and having the conversations, and especially with the youth movement. I seem like there's a lot of young people, and I have a lot of people supporting me being here, and I think that people just need to see it. They need to put pressure on, and hopefully this will change. I think this could be the generation of, compassion. I think this could be one of those things that you read in the history books, or this mythological, thing you could talk about to your children, but that we all moved on from it and made more compassionate choices, and we're the generation that stopped it, because it's not necessary anymore. Then it's not for consumption. And there's a lot of whales, a big animal. I mean, I don't know how many it needs to feed, and it seems like everyone's very well fed around here and very well looked after. Even the prison, it's got an ocean view. I've never seen anything like it. It's very beautiful, everything.
You said
Yes. I'm going to go into town. I'm going to have dinner. I hope to be around for a couple days and have conversations with you and people that are here. I felt, bad the other day that I couldn't make it in, and I felt like I really need to come here and see the place and see the people, because you have this conception, maybe a misconception sometimes of when you have such a horrific thing in your head of what a place could be. And I know there's compassionate people and people that are, wanting to make a change here as well. So I'm just going to be around and do what I can. I would like to, yeah. I would like to. I've met some people already just in the hotel, but it's a lot of support so far. A couple days. We're either going to leave Sunday or Monday. We're going to leave. We just got the flight in. We didn't get a flight out yet. Oh, hello. Hi.
I just wonder, your tune changed a bit. First, it sounded that these were hostile to the Faroe Islands, or Sea Shepherd instead, and that it might be dangerous to come here, that you would be very aggressive and so on. Is that your impression you got now?
No, I didn't say it was dangerous to come here. I said that the images were...
Yeah, no, I don't know what
Right.
you say.
Oh, sorry.
You were supporting an organization
Yes.
who claimed that the Sea Shepherd was entering into a country, into a nation, or a small nation, where people would be hostile to you.
Well, I think it is a battle. I mean, there's two ways of thinking, and they're here to protect the whales and not fight with the Faroes people. But then this place has their own views, and I'm sure they view differently than Sea Shepherds. So it does seem it is a battle. It's a battle of different points of view, but it has to happen, and that's why it's a great conversation to have. Yeah.
I asked the other day where you get information about the pilot whale. You said you got information from the Sea Shepherd. Among other things, you mentioned again today that pilot whaling is entertainment.
I've heard that it was called the bullfight of the sea. So I don't understand if it's not for consumption, it's not a commercial industry, that it's that it's not for survival. Then what is it? What is it for? It feels a bit like a sport. It almost feels like it's it doesn't feel like it's for any other reason than we're doing this because it's tradition and we want to keep doing it and we want to pass this down to our generations, to our kids, and it's unnecessary. They already have so many battles to fight. Our oceans are polluted. There's so many things against them already. So to do something like this, I think is unnecessary anymore. I know that people really, I don't know if they like to do it or if it's if it really is for consumption, but it's it's a difficult. Yep. Yeah.
But it's again, it's not necessary. If we do not, it is for consumption. And I thought I would bring something to you, but I would not be good.
Oh no, I'm vegan.
But I just doing some maths about it, and it would be about 4% of Faroe's national budget to have some support from other states. So it is not without me, perhaps not necessary, but what is necessary? And
Yeah.
it's not an endangered species. We know from Titan Service, NAMCO, that there are about 100,000 individuals around the Faroe Islands, 600,000 to 800,000 around the North Atlantic. The reproduction rate is about 8%, and we take less than 1% a year. And by the IWC, they have asked NAMCO for scientific committee to get information about pilot whales in the Faroe Islands. Even IWC, the National Whaling Commission, asked information about NAMCO, which we consider the only organization that is in charge of pilot whales, small scale. So we see it another way.
Right.
I should be happy to inform you more about Faroe Islands life. So here's a booklet from the Second World War.
Thank you.
Williamson who writes about quite a different way than Sea Shepherd does.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
I just would like to say the IWC is not in charge of small cetaceans. They only deal with whales, and the NAMCO is a is a group of whaling countries. So one can question the independence of the NAMCOs. I know that the NAMCO did a study that came out with the number of 750,000 pilot whales in the Northern Atlantic Ocean. The truth is that when you go on the IUCN website and you check on the status of species, for the pilot whales, it's insufficient data. The truth is that we don't know how many pilot whales are out there. And that study is very old, more than 25 years old. The study of the NAMCO is very old. The one that states that there is 750,000, that's the one I'm talking about, because that's the one that people bring on the table all the time. So it's pretty old, and a lot of things happen in 25 years. When you look at the numbers of how the population of dolphins dropped down in the Mediterranean Sea over the past 20 years, it's scary. So I don't see why those whales wouldn't go through the same dangers. Well, that's not true, because in the traditional book, in the book that's called 2 Minutes, that you can actually buy in the Office of Tourism in Tórshavn, it is said that this is the Faroese bullfight. And we hear people, and in the book that's called Pilot Whaling in the Faroe Islands, that is a reference and that I've read, you have some descriptions of the greens that talks of joy, cheerful, people are happy to actually kill those big animals. Yes, well, you must have read that book, haven't you? The extracts are...
Not be taken out of context. We are happy to have some food, some drink that we really like, we like to eat, and we also, it's the only need vitamin D vitamins that we need in the Faroes, the blood and the blood, so it is joy over a catch.
No, the joy was not about sharing the meal. The joy was about the killing itself. And it's a shame I didn't bring the book, because I could have read an extract, and I think that would have made my point.
But who has written it and who said that?
Faroese. Yes. Yes. Jones Paulson. He's a Faroese. And in the Office of Tourism in Tórshavn, they told me, if you want to understand the green, this is the book you should buy. I bought it, I've read it, and I got all my arguments from that book.
But what I say is, representing all Faroe Island pilot whalers, that is not the thing that we feel that we do.
I think there are different pilot whalers, like there are different people. Some pilot whalers try to kill them fast.
Why not listen to us?
No, maybe there are pilot whalers that actually try to kill them fast, but I know that there are pilot whalers that enjoy killing them.
Most of them do not. There was another one about a footage of children riding on top of the whales. But these are footages that have been made by a photographer, not by us, who can do anything spectacular.
Okay, I have the extract here, so I'll read it to you and you can tell me what you think about it. A foreman I met little later beamed upon me in his excitement and said, "There is a whale in the fjord, plenty of whale. It will give us a little pleasure if we can kill him." I was to recall that remark later as a classic understatement of the truth. The long blades carried out a dreadful job, and soon the water and foam were streaked with purple veins. 4 streams of blood gushed from the bodies beneath the waves and spread out on the sea's surface. The whale's back cut through the waves, and their blood jetted out into the purple mist, oozing in their wake whilst they frantically plowed through the waves. They whined in their agony under the reddening water like woeful, pathetic crybabies. There was such amusement, as much for the spectator as for the worker. Excitement was rising like a fever in everybody's veins. Often, whilst a whale was being drawn, someone disassembled it, and after a short rummage with the blade or knife, extracted the kidneys and livers from behind the steaming intestines. Children helped pull on the ropes, and the hands of 2 small girls were stained red up to their wrists, so that it seemed they were wearing scarlet gloves. So many children were riding the whales, which were being dragged out of the water. As for a rodeo, they stayed in place, displaying their indifference to the slaughter of their ride, and flung themselves on its heart, liver, and kidneys when these were torn out. At the entrance of the port, boys younger than adolescents were using hooks attached to rope to harpoon the whales which had sunk in the port after dying. Their delight was extraordinary. And this one as well. Even if they reached clear water, they turned again, seeking the blood. The large whales seemed to be trying to protect the small ones. Some of the whales, maddened by lance wounds, rushed forward and were stranded in the shallow water, where they were met by men of Sauvagur and Boer, who, breathed deep in blood and water, struck again and again with their green knives to sever the spinal cord. At last it was over. No one whale escaped. A hot, heavy odor filled the air. 286 whales lay dead and dying in Midvagur beach. Their broad, thick lips curved backward in a grotesque smile, disclosing the small white teeth clenched fast. They lay the leather of the flock, and there, oh, the pity of it, poor little baby whales, lying by their mothers, born in the agony of panic and of death.
Thank you very much for reciting a very old text, which is
It is,
nothing is legal today of that.
I know the killing has changed.
Kidney and liver. We do not use the hook with the same way. The lance has been banned for 30 years old. And
I'm talking about the joy.
Yes,
This is what I'm talking about. This has not changed.
It's a very strange thing that we do not get to know who the foreman is, because no Faroese foreman would speak like that about Isle of Wight. You can trust my words. Everybody can claim he's a foreman, and everybody can claim that it's Switzerland, but I don't know who's written that, because that's not the Faroese.
It's a Faroese who wrote the book. Sorry? No, it's not. It's much larger than that. This is an extract to show the joy, describing the joy. I know that the killing itself has changed. This is not about the killing itself. This is about the joy at what happens before. Well, I know it's not easy to kill big animals like that and to drive them to shore. It's not about how easy or how difficult it is. And it's not about the killing itself again. It's about all the pain that's being inflicted to those animals when it's not necessary. Well, the industrial farming is not necessary either, and it has to be addressed as well. Why are you? Well, I don't represent the U.S. I don't live in the U.S. I'm not American. She's vegan.
Yeah, I'm vegan. I don't agree with anything. I think it takes a lot of adrenaline, a lot of passion to go out and kill an animal. Sorry.
No. Again, this is not a reference about the way they are being killed. I know very well that the way they're being killed has changed and has evolved to try to make it shorter. I was responding to the joy that's behind it. And when you look at the pictures and you see the smile with the faces full of blood, you don't have to argue so much. You just look at the picture and they make my point.
May I just add something to that? Because, as I mentioned, the old priest, but on the other hand, this is not kind of a Christian, it's a culture. It's a kind of a culture that we are dealing with. And being, I don't know how you would feel if we came to the United States or to France, opposed to Europe, visa and
Infragra? Yeah, we all oppose that.
yeah, you're welcome.
I would.
But you are opposed to it, and you perhaps do not take it yourself. But we take it, and we need it, and we miss it when we don't get it. But the thing spoke about the other day, is that the way that you come to the Faroe Islands and tune has changed. Is that you enter, we are under siege in 2004 by people who are telling us how to live. We should change our culture immediately. And you will change your attitude because you're not that hostile, you're not that aggressive as you used to be. How come?
In 2011, the border was here and was open to visits. We've met hundreds of Faroese people who were welcome on the boat and with whom we had discussions, open discussions. So we didn't have that attitude that you're talking about. That's not true, not in 2011. And this was the first year that we actually were here in presence, not only with a ship outside.
May I ask Pamela a question? May I ask her?
Can I just, coming back to saying that there's an attack on your culture. As you all know, I am from South Africa, and I'm just going to use this as an example to say how a culture and a tradition that doesn't belong in the 21st century should be abolished. I grew up in the culture and tradition of apartheid. Now, I know you all know what apartheid is. Yes, and the whole world came in and attacked us, which we welcomed, because that tradition and that culture didn't belong in this century. And we fought with the people outside against our own government to change this. So what we're saying is that this tradition and this culture is not necessary anymore. It's insulting to countries that has actually poverty and has people that need food to say that you do this to feed people. You don't need it. You have more things in your supermarkets than what other countries have. So that's quite insulting to say that. All we're saying is that you don't need to kill pilot whales anymore. Every person that I've met thus far from the Faroese said they don't need to do it anymore. Coming back to the enjoyment and entertainment, a Faroese person told me, yes, it's like the circus coming to town. So all we're saying is this is not necessary anymore, and it needs to change. If it doesn't belong here, we know of a lot of countries and a lot of cultures that changed horrific traditions because it doesn't belong in this century.
But there is much more danger. 100,000 dolphins are killed in the United States every year. I mean, that's more than the thousands of white whales. But what I wanted to go back to is just a question by Paul Watson.
Yeah,
You
sure.
can
Sorry.
ask that.
Yes.
It's that Paul Watson, in two cases, has described us as Nazis, Faroe Islanders compared to Nazis, and also that Anders Breivik, whom you heard of, he was the Norwegian who went to the campsite, the socialist campsite in Norway, that he has been inspired by the Faroes pirate way. How is your attitude to that? That Paul Watson, the leader of the Sea Shepherd, compares us with that?
He's a very passionate man. He's very poetic. He has a lot of love. He started Greenpeace. He's a brilliant man, and there has to be an extreme position for anything to have a middle ground. And he is, he's trying to explain in a poetic way, and also in a way that people can maybe respond to. In a passionate way. We can all have pleasant conversations about this, but it's not a pleasant issue. And the fact is, it is a very barbaric thing. It's a frightening act. It's something you don't really want your children to see. I wouldn't bring my children to slaughterhouses. It just seems it's just not necessary anymore. There's no necessity, and it seems like tradition and pride are really playing into it. But like we said, there's a lot of traditions that have changed in the past, and it takes people speaking up and coming here and talking about it and stating their position. I haven't met one person in the entire world that thinks this is cool. Nobody. I met a lot of people all over the world that are like, are you going to the Faroes? Thank God. Please go there. I mean, just bring this to the attention of the world, and maybe they'll feel the pressure to stop it. And not, to put it in the history books, say this is what we used to do. But now, we don't need it anymore. We have other options. We have other forms of entertainment. We have a lot of food sources. We're well taken care of. And it's not a commercial hunt. It just seems to be able to run into the water with hooks and kill whales and have this. It's very frightening. It does take an adrenaline rush. It does take this emotional frenzy to do it. How could you do it? Just be numb? Yeah, I know.
Just to put this back into context, the thing that you're saying about, he said that, I don't remember the name of that massive killer. Yes, he said that he was inspired by the Faroese people. The reason why he said that is because in the first place, he has been accused to have inspired, as an eco-terrorist, to have inspired that terrorist. So his answer to that was to say, he was accused by Faroese people. His answer to that was say, if this guy has been inspired by someone, it's much more likely by people who kill whales the way you do than by myself, as we know that massive killers often begin with killing animals before they kill humans. The point is, he was responding to a provocation. He was not provocating.
A good leader shouldn't be
He's a good leader, or else we wouldn't be here, and Sea Shepherd wouldn't be here.
Well, we had laws governing the segregation. Well, there is an international law on banning whaling, so why don't you keep to that? Sorry, you're saying it's a lifeblood for you. Sorry, I didn't hear that.
How can you say it's sustainable when we don't know
How many there are?
How can you say it is sustainable when we actually don't know how many whales are out there, and when we know that all those factors that are here now, I mean global warming, overfishing, pollution, the sonar pollution, all those factors that are here now and that affect the whales were not there before. How can you not take that into consideration?
Try to read the last scientific statement from NAMCO. They do it every year. And that assessment
The NAMCO is not an independent group of scientific. I'm sorry, but the NAMCO is a group of whaling countries. I want an independent study. Where is that independent study? Where is
who has a
what's
big
wrong with
interest to do it sustainably? Then you have it. No, I
That's-
mean, we
that's
send
like-
the, if you follow it, you don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
sends the scientific assessment to IWC. The scientific committee of IWC looks at it. They have never. Try to find out that goes.
The IWC doesn't statute on small cetaceans.
Nobody has commented on that in the last
The IWC doesn't statute on small cetaceans. They focus on the whales. They focus on the whales only.
No, not the scientific committee.
I have another question about the toxic.
Yes.
That is real and it's dangerous. Everybody, emotions are getting polluted. Someone.
Yeah.
But,
Later.
You know, the origin is, again, I'm a bit surprised of how you select how the Sea Shepherd selects the stand that support the point of view, because you wait over the scientific material. But we know, and the report from Sweden says that vegetables and fruits are polluted with all those things, pesticides, that we are supposed not to take into the whales. We know how that happens. They protect the fruits and it's washed out to sea. And even 10 to 20% of the pollution is above what is recommended for human consumption. So how do you select? How do you choose the way and which level is pilot level in the Faroe Islands compared to what's most dangerous to the whales?
I'm here just representing compassionate people. I think the kill itself is so inhumane and so brutal, and I just think it's 2014. It just seems like these types of things shouldn't be happening. Of course, there's a lot of poison all over the world. We should all be eating organic. We should all have our own farms, but we shouldn't be slaughtering beautiful animals with hooks running off the beach and bloodshed. And when it's not necessary. It's not for survival. It just seems like there's a very few things that happen like this that are this brutal. I'm Canadian. The Canadian seal hunt. I'm very vocal against that, and that's a commercial hunt. And there's different arguments for that. And also there's a commercial, in Taji, and here, I just feel like, this just seems like it just seems unnecessary. It just seems like it's so brutal. It's just so, it's from the old days, we got to move on and put this behind us and let the whales swim freely by. And so I think it's much more important for us in the future to save our oceans and the biodiversity of our oceans. The whales are very important too.
I know you have only been here now for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
When you meet them, do you think that they will maybe tell you something about how the killing is carried out? Do you know how the killing is?
I know how the killing is carried out. I've seen a lot of it. I've heard.
But yeah, you heard it.
Yeah.
You haven't really spoken to the people that have been in the killings. Maybe you get the opportunity later for that.
Yeah.
Can you maybe try to tell me what you are told? What are you told about the killings? How they are carried out?
Well, I know they're supposedly done quickly, but a lot of things go wrong, not necessarily always go right. And specifically through the hole of the whale and slicing through and it's supposed to kill them, fairly quickly. What my concern is that they're they're so passionate about their families and they're so connected to their families, even more so than humans. And so I just think it's so cruel to be able to watch your family that you've been together with just being slaughtered in front of you and drown in each other's blood. I just think it's a barbaric, dangerous thing for children to see, for anybody to see anymore. Just how's it?
Please try to describe it more specifically. What do you know about this moment when the whale is being killed? How is the killing carried out? Do you know how it's carried out?
Like I said, you run into the water. They're driven into.
Not very specific with it.
Well, I don't know the very exactly specifics. I don't want to know exactly.
How can you come here and say that it's not right when you don't?
Because you're putting hooks in the hole and you're slicing the neck and there's blood all over the place and there's all these different whales. I mean, how many whales do you need to feed somebody? One whale. Take the whale meat out of the freezer from last year. It's ridiculous. It doesn't need to go on. It just really doesn't need to go on.
Know how the whale is killed.
You tell me. I know it's cut.
Sorry,
The spinal cord
Excuse
is cut.
me.
I mean,
Yeah,
I know.
yes.
Tell me how the
The
whale.
spinal cord is cut. The thing goes through the hole, they cut it, and that's it. But a lot of times it doesn't go right.
Be inhumane?
It's inhumane to kill a whale. Why would you need to kill a whale? Why would you need to kill anything? I mean, you're killing all these whales here for this small, community. How many whales do you need?
There is no
It just there's no necessity. Yeah, it's
Everyone
babies.
is being wiped out. And the worst about the greens, I think, is not the killing itself. I know exactly how it happens. I think the worst is, well, first of all, when they are being driven, running away from the sound, but when they understand that they are being trapped between the beach and the ocean, and they start panicking, and the killing starts, and they start try to protect each other. That panic, all that moment of terror that can last, depends how many whales are there. This is the worst thing, and the last whale to die is actually the one that suffered the most, not because of the blade, but because she had to witness all her family die. And when you know how those individuals are strongly bound to each other, how they help each other in the wild, how they feed each other when they cannot feed themselves, how they try to save their babies, protect their babies and protect their weaks, when you inflict them that pain to have to drown in each other's blood, this is the most horrible thing. And there is no survivor ever. Every hunt, I'm not a pro hunter at all, but at least there is a sort of selection. You don't wipe out a whole genetic group, a whole family. I think this is the worst thing.
For a correction there, it seems that we know very little about tidal whales from the school of biology because people just take part of it. They're the biggest ones. And the rest of them is left as easy prey to killer whales.
So rather than spare them all, let's kill them all. That's the choice. I know that's the choice.
On the other hand, understand very nice to come here, and I think you should stick to what you were here. You mentioned the other day that you may have been participating in movies where blood is shed, is shown everywhere, and so on. And otherwise, there are lots of movies, all that you can, children, a child that is able to turn on the TV, can watch everything. There's also less by the civilization come to the Faroe Islands. What do you think about that?
I don't like violence myself. I don't like scary movies. I think that being one-on-one with a whale with its, blood everywhere, I think that's more of a personal experience. I think that can have a long-term negative effect. I think it's all, I don't agree with violence either. I just think that it just seems like something that people don't even believe it's real. People think this is a myth, that this is really happening in the world today, to have this kind of really graphic kill happen still from a human, to go to a creature to kill them like this. It just seems, people don't even believe that it's real. So I just feel like this is the time where everybody can see what is going on, that it's just time to find new traditions, new things, and the world is changing, and you start making better, compassionate choices.
Do you have any idea of what those new traditions should be consisting of? What do you think, if we're not eating whale meat maybe once a month, what are we supposed to eat instead? Do you have any idea?
Be vegetarian and protect the whales, protect the environment, protect our planet so we have one.
Things here in the Faroe Islands, quite cold and
That's important.
So you live off whale meat. That's how you survive.
Yeah, you asked earlier, you said earlier, we don't do it, it's not necessary to kill it because we don't do it for food. But it's a fact, we eat it, we eat whale. Then you said, there's a lot of food in the supermarket. Is it better to go to the supermarket and buy groceries, meat from the other side of the world, imported, it's been by ship or planes or something, to the Faroe Islands? It's a lot of pollution, and then eat it, or we can just kill the whales, we're swimming past the islands, and eat it. It doesn't pollute.
Well, I think like hundreds of years ago, this was a you needed, the whales were important to the Faroe Islands. I think that now there's more choices, and I think that you don't have to
But you still have to
make the
answer,
compassionate choice.
Do you think we should go to the supermarket and buy groceries and fruit and vegetables imported from the other side of the world? It pollutes a lot. Or, I'm not finished yet. You have to listen. You come here to listen to us, okay? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It's changing, it's okay.
Then you have to listen.
Yeah, but that's the second time that you asked the same question, so that's why I'm jumping into it.
No, well, that was not
Finish
finished.
the second
Thank you
time.
very much. You think we should go to the supermarket to buy groceries, fruits, vegetables, meat imported from the other side of the world? Is it better for the entire world if we do so, instead of by killing the whales or swimming past the islands and eat the meat?
I think you need to make compassionate choices when you shop in the grocery store too. And you have to make individual choices every day that is better for the world or better for yourself and better for your health. I just think that brutally killing whales is wrong when it's not 100% for consumption. It's not a commercial hunt. It seems to be for entertainment, and it seems to be this kind of really invigorated kind of emotional frenzy that people get into in these certain times of year. And it seems like it's just a primitive thing. I just don't.
People of the Faroe Islands primitive, or
No, I'm saying this specific thing is very barbaric, and it's
how come,
unnecessary.
why do you think it's
Because you're
barbaric?
running after whales with hooks, and they're babies, and they're pregnant females, and you're wiping out entire pods. And it could just, there's so many other choices for food, and it's just not
So
necessary.
you think it's better if we go to the supermarket and buy groceries and meat and food imported from all over the world, instead of using the food in the ocean?
You do it already. That's the third time, so I'm jumping in. Excuse me. You do it already. The supermarkets are full of lamb from New Zealand, food from everywhere.
But the killing of whales means, because we eat it, then it means we eat less imported meat.
Well, I mean, how much whale do you eat on average? And there are 46,000 people
We
here.
eat enough of whale meat because
You eat a little bit. Like some people eat it once a month, some people don't even eat it, some people eat it several times a week. But on average, there's a quite small proportion. This is not a main portion of your diet today anymore. The thing is that the number of whales that you kill is way, way higher than the actual amount of whale meat that you eat. Why is that's excellent?
What?
How come?
Is it that?
Yes. Well, last year you killed 1,499 whales, right? Right? On average, people here eat whales like what? Let's say twice a month? If you do an average, considering that pregnant women and children don't eat it, so I'm even higher. This is like way too many whales for that number.
But we don't eat it in a year.
Yeah, but
can
you have
freeze it.
huge fridges, so your fridges are still full. Why do you still want to go out and kill them now? You killed so many last year.
I think you have much to learn about Faroe's culture and Faroe's way of eating. You don't look that, I mean, we don't seem to eat that much, do we, in the Faroe Islands?
Sorry?
We don't look like if we eat that much in the Faroe Islands as you claim we do, because to me I have still some meat and butter 2 or 3 years old, salted, which I use.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that is, I think you have a lot of
And I
to
think
learn
so.
about Faroe
No,
Islands.
well, I know that. How that contradicts what I just said? I don't get it.
You say it seems to you that we eat everything in 1 year.
No,
When-
I know that you dry it and that you freeze it.
Okay.
Yes. So I'm saying you have big piles and stocks of whale meat, and you still go out to kill more whales,
But you
even if
still-
the fridges are full.
You still didn't answer my question about, do you think it's better if
I
we go to
answered
the
this.
supermarket?
Yes, I answered it. I
Do you think
answered.
it's better if we go
I
to the
said you
supermarket and buy
already
foods and
do
vegetables
it.
and groceries from all over
You
the world,
have-
imported to the Faroe Islands? It pollutes a lot.
You
Instead
know,
of we use the food in our seas.
there would be some credibility in what you said if you didn't have the largest industrial fishing fleets here in the Faroe Islands. You're already
But
polluting.
you still didn't
You're
answer
already
my
polluting.
question.
Yes, I answered it. I said you are already doing it. If there was no such things in your supermarkets,
I
if you
said-
didn't have that huge industrial fishing fleet, then I would say, yeah, maybe you are not polluting as much as us.
But after that,
So,
I
but
said,
it's not the case. You pollute as much as we do. It's just that you are 46,000 people. In France, we
the
are
point is-
60
the point
million.
is, when we eat the fish in our oceans, when we eat the whales, then we import less meat and we import less.
You export so much
We
because
don't
you
export
fish
whales,
so
but
much.
Please listen to me. Do you think we eat less imported food and imported groceries when we use the fish and the food and the whale in our ocean? You agree on that?
I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure because I'm not sure that the people who eat in the supermarkets, I'm not sure that they would.
Everybody uses the supermarkets.
So, yeah, but let me finish my sentence and you'll understand where I go. Those people, so everyone who eats in the supermarkets, if they were not eating whale meat, I'm not sure. I lost my point. See, you interrupted me.
They'll just not eat dinner that day.
No, what I meant is, yeah, you really lost me. The people who go to the supermarket, if you were not killing whale meats anymore, they would still go to the supermarket.
But we are killing whale meat today, and we are going to the supermarket today. My point is, when we kill whale, and we eat the whale meat, then we buy less imported food in the supermarket.
Let me try to rephrase the question. Maybe
No,
in
I
another
got
way.
it. I
Because
got
we
it.
have this whale that we are supposed to eat, and you don't want us to eat that whale. So let's say that we switch the whale, give you get the whale, and we get a cow instead from America, for example. Would you leave us alone then?
Well, we are a marine conservation organization.
Can you please answer the question?
This is my answer. We are a marine conservation organization. We focus on the ocean issues. We know that the green is not the main threat.
Are you
on
not
planet.
obliged to put this question into the real context? You have
I
to eat
think,
something.
okay, I'm gonna answer you. I think we all included, eat way too much meat because we are 7 billion people.
Who are
we
you
need-
to decide that?
I'm giving you my
Why are you
opinions
to
and my
decide that?
analysis.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, we are 7 billion people. 7 billion people who eat meat at the rate that we do is self-destruction of this planet. It's inflicting so much pain. It's industrial farming because we eat way too much meat.
Anybody can say
So
that.
that's the issue. That's
Is that
my
proven
answer.
scientifically?
Let's eat
Yeah.
less meat. That's what I'm saying. That's what
You
I'm
still
saying.
haven't answered my question.
I have.
If you give
That's
us a
not the
cow
answer you
instead
want.
of the
But
whale.
that's not
If
the
you-
answer that you want to
if-
hear, but
if-
that's my answer.
If you give us a cow instead, would you leave us alone then?
I would not give you a cow. I would tell you, let's eat less meat. Us included, friends included, everyone included. Those 7 billion people need to eat less meat because this planet cannot sustain it. We have to change. We have to evolve if we want to survive.
If so
It's
many
not
people
just the
are
Faroese
supposed to
people,
eat
it's
less
everyone.
meat, 7 million people, you say.
7 billion.
7 billion people, yeah. Why don't you go somewhere else? There are only 48,000 people in this country.
We are everywhere, and everywhere we go, they tell us, why don't you go over there? I mean, you know, this is not a full-time campaign for Sea Shepherd. We do a lot of campaigns. This is one of our campaigns. And everywhere we go, they tell us, oh, it's worse over there. Well, we're here, and then we'll move on to something else. Then we'll come back.
The truth said, aren't we an easy target?
Why are you an easy target?
Small country.
Question.
Oh, come on. We are fighting the industrial wedding industry of Japan. This is the third
But that's racial.
biggest powerful
racial.
country.
That's racial.
That's
Yeah,
racial. So there's always something. You know that Paul is half Danish? I mean, his first wife is Chinese. His child is half Chinese. We don't care about the flag. We don't care about the country. What we care is for the oceans,
Why
whether
don't
you
you
believe
campaign
it
in
or
US
not.
then?
This is our only motivation.
Why don't you
I would
campaign
like
in
to
US
try
then?
to address the question to Pamela, please.
Yeah, that's it.
Do you think that we are an easy target?
I don't think you're an easy target. I think you're one. You know, this is one issue that's in all of our faces right now, and it's something that we need to address. It's something that is unnecessary. Already, the whales and the oceans have so many other issues to battle. And I work with PETA. I'm all over the place. I'm talking to people about industrial farming. Factory farming is a leading cause, I think, of global warming. And there's all sorts of issues. We can't eat as much meat. We can't eat meat. Period. I think. But and this is just a brutal act. I think it's unnecessary. The meat is toxic to pregnant women, to children. I don't see what the point is. I think it's, what do you think the biggest reason is that you do the grind anymore? Is it just to prove a point that I want to keep this tradition up, I want to keep our tradition, I want to, this is for our ancestors and we want to keep this going, because it can't just be for consumption if it's not edible and not safe to eat.
Sorry, you guys have taken up a lot of time. Please, can we get some other questions from people here? Because we're really running out of time. Is there nobody else that would like to pose a question to Pamela? So I don't know if you would like to...
I have a question.
Hi, how are you?
Sorry,
Yeah, sorry, but I have to be
That's
somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
tell me where I can be. Yeah, tell me where I can stay. Side. Because there's too many cameras and I cannot...
there you go. You
What-
can
what-
just
what-
stand
Yeah,
there,
from
sit,
here?
and you can
Okay.
address Pamela from there.
Okay, no problem. Here, so just to finish this issue, I met a lot of young guys here, and some of them, they didn't want to go to the green. They were, some of the fathers go there, but sometimes before they didn't like it. And when they see, they feel a bit offended by all these things about being barbaric, killers, and also Nazis, and all these comparisons with serial killers. And do you understand their position? Because now they want to join the Green, or they might want to join the Green because they felt offended. Do you understand this point of view and how it was affecting them to when they heard that? And you see, it's counterproductive in a way.
Well, it's hard to not call it what it is. And I think young people normally are a little more forward-thinking when it comes to new ideas. And I know young people probably feel pressure to follow in their parents' footsteps, their ancestors, and I think this is a perfect time to not listen to your parents, to think for yourself. Maybe there's going to be a movement, like there's been movements for many other things in the world, where you just look inside yourself and, is this right for me? Is this something I should be doing just because my parents did it or my grandparents did it? That this is a new time and the world is at risk, and there's climate change and all sorts of things to think about. That this is time. I think this is the generation that has to stand up against everything and say, that was then, this is now, this is what I'm going to do. Sorry, Mom, sorry, Dad, I'm going to do it this way. And I'm sure it is a barbaric, psychotic frenzy to see people run into the ocean and kill pilot whales, and it is what it is. We're not calling. We're more worried about the whales than we are trying to offend the people that are killing them, and it brings out a lot of passion. So people are, it does make me angry. It does make me concerned about society that we're still doing this type of thing. So, but I really do believe that kids have to think for themselves, and they have to look inside themselves and make their own choices. And that means probably not making everybody happy.
I have a question.
Yes.
If you ask a lot of people, they'll say that over the next 2 generations or so, the tradition might just die out on its own. So why do you feel that Sea Shepherd's presence here now is still necessary?
Well, I think it's going to die out because people are against it, and people are informing people from the other side. You have to have, there has to be a debate. It has to be a heated debate. You know, there has to be people, you know, from all over the world that put pressure maybe on this to stop it. So I think the conversation has to start because it is going to take time. I know it's going to take time. I wish it could stop this year, but I know it's going to take time.
Also on the time scale, I think 10 or 20 years is way too long. We don't have that time because of all those other threats that we've mentioned. We need to stop it now. It should have stopped already. So I know it's not going to stop this year. We're just trying to speed up the process.
I have one last question.
Yes.
For Pamela.
Sorry, can we follow first
Can
on
I
somebody
please-
else?
Pamela said yes.
Oh, sorry.
Pamela said yes.
No, it's fine.
Thank you very much. When I'm off today,
Yes.
I'll go home and I'll have something for dinner. I have whale meat in the fridge, but that's one opportunity. The other opportunity is I go to the supermarket and buy vegetables imported from all around the world. I could go to the supermarket, buy it, and then I know the groceries pollutes a lot when it's sailed to the Faroe Islands or coming by plane. But I have whale meat in the fridge as well. What do you think I should eat? Should I take whale meat out of the fridge and eat it? It doesn't pollute. I killed it myself. Or should I go to the supermarket and buy vegetables, groceries from all over the world?
I think you should eat your vegetables. You'd feel a lot better.
You think I
Just
should,
vegetables. Be vegan. I swear,
But-
it's very healthy
but
for you.
being a vegan on the Faroe Island, it means I buy vegetables and groceries from all over the world because we can't grow it here. But we have food in our ocean.
I understand that. I still,
But
I'm a
you still
vegan.
think-
I still
you
believe,
still
I still
think-
believe that you should not kill animals
May-
at this,
may I
you know,
add to
I know, it's maybe in a different position, but
So you've asked that question now 4 times.
Yeah.
Is there
Well,
anybody
it's the first time I
else?
asked that question.
Can I ask anybody else?
I would like to put one question forward because I'm hoping that you will have the opportunity to talk to me about that. Is it possible to supply you with the newest information about pilot whale, Sea Shepherd as well, and you base your future information on that as well? Because the English philosopher Herbert Spencer, he claims, he lived 200 years ago, that opinion is ultimately determined by feelings and not by the intellect. And that's what we do, we know that. So if you get the newest information from both sides, is that possible to work on that and take stand from that?
absolutely,
Very
absolutely.
good. Thank you very much.
Sorry, didn't finish. So legislation here in Faroe Islands, the government says that it has its own legislation. Sorry.
Sorry.
That's
Yes,
what
what to do.
And it has its own legislation, and that the government will never be forced by any country to change it, because they are under protectorate of Denmark, but they are at their own legislation on this issue, and they might be, a lot of them want to be independent, you know, from Denmark also. So what can be done, you know, for the law, you know, because to be here is very important, you know, for your convictions. But what can be done, you know, in a higher scale? Because it looks like you know, you have to change. It can be either by mercury, by the food being not healthy enough, like the green can die out by itself, or perhaps do you think it can be like any country, a European country, United States can do something? Can you explain me what can be done on this issue?
Well, I think it has to be public opinion. There has to be enough people that want it to change, and it'll change. I think it comes from compassion. I don't think it's, again, the meat is not healthy for you, but I think that the whole youth movement now is coming from a different place. We want to save the planet. We want to save our oceans. We want to be more compassionate people, make better choices, and I think that's where it's going to come from. And it has to come from pressure within the community, but also from the whole world.
But not from the legislation, not from a country like France. I'm French. Do
Yeah.
you think that the French people can have a claim and do like to Den Haag, to the international tribunal, you know, to do that? Is that a country that can say stop it, or what do you think? Or perhaps Lamia, because you know, up to you, but what can be done? Because it's a own legislation and they don't want to stop. I met the Prime Minister and he told me, you know, we won't stop because it's our own law. You know, so that's we have to decide. So do you think this pressure from the other countries is possible? And would you like to see like the States or the French people go towards and to change things here and say stop the green because it's not possible anymore?
Well, everyone I've talked to, and politically as well, has been against the grind, but it has to come from within this country. They have to make that choice for themselves, and we're bringing a lot of international attention to it and hoping that we can convince people here to move on to other things. And I think that's the only way to do it, and to have the protection of Sea Shepherd. And, you know, I think things have to change. There's so few places that do this kind of hunt that is this cruel. I really think it's in the past, and it has to be, and just we have to move on from it. Anybody I know, and I've talked to the U.S. ambassador here just the other day, and you know, it is a touchy subject, and everyone wants to remain neutral. No one wants to stir the pot. No one wants to say anything against this because it's such a, you know, a heated subject. But you know, you have to stand up for what you believe in, and I believe the oceans need our pilot whales. I don't think people should be eating them, and I've been around a long time in working with environmental issues and with Sea Shepherd, and this is one of those things where it is unnecessary compared to all the other issues and problems that we have a hard time dealing with. I think this would be something that could happen quickly and could make a big difference.
One last question, please. Do you support everything that the Sea Shepherd does?
Yes.
Meaning different goals that they want to achieve and the methods that the organization uses?
I'm a very good friend of Paul Watson. I've known his entire history. He started Greenpeace. He was, you know, sick of just doing things from the office. He said, I'm getting on a boat. I'm going to stop this madness. I think he's incredible. I think he's a hero. I think he's a hero for the oceans. And whatever he has done, I think is brilliant because it takes a lot of nerve. You know, he's not a political person. He saved a lot of whales. He saved a lot of animals. And then guess what? The ocean is here for all of us for the rest of your life. He saved you. He's made a difference for you too.
But can you say how he has saved whales?
How has he saved whales all over the world? Specifically, well, in Japan and saving the whales and protecting the whales that are in sanctuaries that are being illegally. How many? Oh my gosh. It's been a long time. He's an older gentleman. He's done a lot since he was young, but he's made an incredible difference to the planet.
Say how many whales he has
He's contributed to the, you know, to.
Well, that would be about 5,000 or 6,000 just in Antarctica.
How did he do that?
How we do that? Because it's actually the ICR, which is the Japanese whaling industry that publishes their numbers. And they accuse Sea Shepherd every year for not reaching their quota. Paul Watson wouldn't be under such a pressure if he was not getting any results. So the fact that he has so many pressure, that he has Japan, Costa Rica after him, is just one proof out of many others. And Paul doesn't have to prove anymore that he's been effective. They wouldn't bother that much to track him down if he was not getting any results.
And once again, sorry, it's my last question.
Okay, that's okay.
I saw the campaign of Sea Shepherd here, and then when they arrived, they put a skirt on the flag, you know, of the Faroe Islands, and Faroe people were felt very insulted. So Sea Shepherds decided to change it, you know, so to respect them because they really understood it was something bad for them, so it was a good point. And what is the best way for you now to win the heart and minds of tourist people here? Because you look like you're changing a bit of communication and, you know, being more open, especially on this subject. You know, it was a proof that it was going on. What is the best thing to get in the heart of people?
I think just having conversation, learning more about the history, learning more about the, you know, just about their culture, and trying to tell my side of it or our side of it, that I think we can make more compassionate choices that are healthier for everybody and the planet, and we can, and this is one of those things I think that is a choice that's easy to change, And so this seems like a perfect opportunity and a perfect time to be the hero, to be the new generation that is saying this was what we used to do, and we can sit around and talk about what we used to do. We used to do a lot of horrible things that maybe made sense a long time ago, but don't make sense now. So I think it's just a new time, and I think that's the argument that I have, is that there's this is the time to make that change, and not to make it so. It is gruesome to me, but not to make it. You know, I know I've said these acts are barbaric, and that the acts are, I think, but I think that, you know, hundreds of years ago, this was necessary to the Faroese people, and now I just don't think it is anymore, and I'm hoping people can slowly make that choice, and we can filter that out, and we can let the pilot whales swim freely and be with their families, and fight all the other battles they have to fight. And yes? Yes, sorry.
Let's say the Faroe Islanders, they find some ground, they find some whales while you are here. But what are you going to do about it? Are you going to stop it, acting like Sea Shepherd?
Well, I support Sea Shepherd, so I'll be with them, and whatever it takes. I think it's important to try and.
Go down to the beach and try to stop it yourself.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But
We hope that won't happen.
we hope that won't happen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.